is Kevin Hill. I got married at 24 years old. I had 6 kids, stayed married for 27 and a half years. I had a nice job. I went to school and took up a maintenance trade, got my HVAC license. My life was good. Started noticing my marriage wasn't surviving. I started falling into a depression. I lost my job because a woman complained and said I cursed her out. Everybody in the building I was working at loved me because I went above and beyond. So I noticed as I'm applying for maintenance jobs, I'm getting interviews, I'm even getting offer letters. But then they want to rescind the job. And I'm like, why are you rescinding the job? Because the company that I work for, they said that it's giving me a bad reference. Now I have no job, I still got to pay rent, I still got to pay this truck note. I'll pack up my stuff and I'll move out immediately. I'll sleep in my truck. That's what I did. So I slept in the truck for about a month. And one day I go into the store, snatch man pull up, they take the truck and everything in it. So I said, okay, now I'm on the street. So I stayed up on Benning Road in Southeast. I lived up there at a bus stop for about 5 months. I'm homeless. I got some mental issues going on. I can't get health insurance. I can't get food stamps. I can't get a place to stay. All the shelters are full. This book bag and this sleeping bag. This was my lifeline. I couldn't sleep at night. This is all I had. I had this book bag and this sleeping bag from Waldorf every day to Southern Maryland Hospital with this sleeping bag wrapped around me because I was so cold. And but I still wouldn't give up. I was a very clean person. I always make sure I washed up every day. They would look at me funny, you know. I think they kind of put me in a box. This guy's homeless. He's not gonna do nothing but come in here and steal but that's not my character. So I used to fill out the application anyway, and I would give it to them. And you know, on my way out the door, I would kind of like glance back to see what they would do with my application. And I done seen a few of them like rip them up. I done seen them throw them in the trash, you know. And I'm like, wow, I'm trying to get out of this situation. And it seems to want to help me, you know. I was scared to go to sleep out there because I had nowhere to sleep. You know, I would go in the woods and just sit there, but you can't sleep. You know, you have no shelter. So it kind of started weighing on my health now. Now my health is in jeopardy because I'm losing a lot of weight. So lifestyle popped up on my phone. I called them. Here's when I met Deborah Collins. And when I talked, she was like, what are you doing in here? This don't seem like this is for you because she said, when I come here, both times I've come in here, you're sitting at that computer. I said, well, I'm sitting here applying for jobs. I want to say over 74 jobs in one day. No response from any of the jobs. So she called me and she said, look, can I put you in a hotel for a day? She put me in a hotel for a day. Came back, she said, I'm gonna put you in here for another day. She just kept coming back, putting me in a hotel room for days at a time while she can do it. And they gave me some $25 gift cards, and I would walk over to Walmart every day and get noodles and, you know, like bread and bologna and just stuff to where I can try to get some energy back. And I say, you know, I don't want them to continue to pay for me. I'm independent, you know, this is my mindset. I don't know no other way. And so I took a couple of the gift cards they got me and I bought a tent. Man, do you know, I set the tent up in the woods and when I came back the next day, my tent was gone. Yeah, somebody stole my tent. So, but I always kept this sleeping bag and this book bag with me at all times. And then I met a Ricky Moore. Miss Collins is of Lifestyle. She actually turned me on to Ricky Moore because I had an HVAC license, but my driver's license is suspended, so he couldn't help me. Ricky Moore paid for me a room for 2 nights at the hotel, and the last day when I was in the hotel, that's the day he picked me up and we was riding and talking, and he say, I got somebody that can give you a job. He was like, are you open to working in like fast food? I said, I will work anywhere. You know, job is a job. I need some money. I need to be able to feed myself. So he turned me on to a lady named Melissa. She is the manager down at the IHOP in Clinton. She gave me a job down there. I didn't have a ride. I had to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I got up about 10 at night and I started walking from 10 at night from Belle Alden. I walked from Belle Alden down 301 all the way to Clinton. It took me 7 hours, and then I still worked that 8-hour shift after walking. And then when I got off from there, I still had to walk back. And I'm telling you, I don't know how I did it, just by the grace of God that I did it. And then I got up the next day, and when I was ready to go to work, Miss Collins said, "How did you get to work?" I said, "I walked." She said, "Oh, well, that's not gonna happen again." So they made sure that I had transportation to get to and from work every day. Miss Collins turned me on to Mark and Marilyn, their own Oasis. So now I gotta go in here and I got to tell them my story again. And they offered me a job. She sent me a text offering me the job. And I said, yeah. She said, well, you can go ahead and quit IHOP because I'm gonna make sure you're okay. I said, okay, that sounds good. My profession is maintenance, but what I'm learning is he's teaching me another trade as well, you know, like butchering, and I didn't know nothing about packing meat and, you know, store codes, and so I'm learning while I'm here. So then they tell me, we have an apartment that we're fixing up for you. Lifestyle, wanting to help you get back on your feet, and me and Mark are gonna eat the cost, and we're gonna put you in a room. And they furnished it, you know, and this is where I've been. But I'm gonna tell you, I would never get rid of this sleeping bag, ever, because that's a part of my life right there. That sleeping bag actually saved me on a lot of cold nights. I figured I can do it on my own, but then I realized I can't even do it at all. You know, nobody wants to look at me because I got this sleeping bag and this book bag that I will never give up. I'm gonna strive to do better from day to day, you know. Once I get the mental help that I really need, I think that I can push forward past a lot of the other stuff. But until I get that part, I just want to move forward in my progress every day, and that's it.